Don't miss out on the thrilling ride ahead. Hit that subscribe button below and become a part of our ever-growing community of motorcycle enthusiasts. And hey, if you're as excited about the Von Dutch XA creation as we are, show us some love by smashing that like button. Your support fuels our passion for bringing you the best in the world of wheels. In terms of its contribution to pop culture, the Harley-Davidson XA is often mentioned in discussions about vintage motorcycles, military vehicles, and World War II history. It's seen as a representation of Harley-Davidson's involvement in supporting the war effort by supplying motorcycles to the military. However, compared to other Harley-Davidson models like the Sportster or the Softail, its influence on mainstream pop culture is relatively limited. Enthusiasts, collectors, and history buffs may appreciate the XA for its unique design and historical significance, but it hasn't had the same impact on popular culture as some other motorcycles or Harley-Davidson models. Its influence is more niche and specific to those interested in military history, vintage motorcycles, and the Harley-Davidson brand. The XA is a rare and collectible vintage motorcycle today. Motorcycle enthusiasts and collectors often seek out these bikes due to their historical significance and unique design. Owning and restoring an XA has become a niche interest within the vintage motorcycle community. The XA's design, which included a horizontally opposed engine and other features, had some influence on later Harley-Davidson models and other motorcycles. This influence on motorcycle design can be considered a subtle, long-term contribution to pop culture in the world of motorcycles. In some subcultures and enthusiast circles, the Harley-Davidson XA is a point of discussion and reference. It may not be as widely recognized as other Harley-Davidson models, but within certain communities, it holds a special place in pop culture discussions related to motorcycles and military history. Von Dutch is a brand and persona associated with the custom motorcycle and hot rod culture, known for his distinctive pinstriping and custom motorcycle designs. Von Dutch, whose real name was Kenny Howard, was a prominent figure in the Southern California custom motorcycle scene in the mid-20th century. The connection between Von Dutch and the Harley XA may be that Von Dutch was known for his involvement in the custom motorcycle scene, worked on or customized various Harley-Davidson motorcycles, including the XA, as part of his custom motorcycle work. The National Motorcycle Museum has become quite a crossroads for all sorts of antique and vintage motorcycling. John Parham, longtime collector and president of the museum, practically lives there and welcomes in almost daily collectors of motorcycles, toys, artwork, photos and more, even old oil cans and great porcelain signs. John knew Mike Wolfe for about 20 years before he became a celebrity through the television hit American Pickers. So, Mike makes it a point to stop by and see John when he's in the neighborhood, or has some super new find he wants John to see, maybe even own. But then sometimes Mike keeps the coolest things he finds, like many of us do. Such was the case recently. What is a picker? In case you don't already know, a picker is the first guy to lay eyes on a neglected, hidden, forgotten, interesting object from our past. Pickers knock on doors out in the country if their sixth sense says the barn holds an old motorcycle or car, or just a fine nickel-plated kerosene lamp from the late 19th century. Pickers know what's good, dig it out, dust it off, and for the first time in maybe 50 years, identify it, price it, and try and sell it for what it's really worth. Mike Wolfe is a real picker, has been for most of his life. And Mike likes to share his finds with John Parham and the National Motorcycle Museum. Case in point, the Von Dutch XA motorcycle Mike Wolfe recently scored. Mike got a call one day from a friend telling him about a Von Dutch motorcycle. Two things probably popped into Mike's mind. First, bogus, because Von Dutch stuff is so rare. Second, I'd better get there quick before someone else does. And he did. What he found was the bike Von Dutch had built around 1966, along with paperwork that had Ed Big Daddy Roth as a past owner. He made a deal on the spot and took the motorcycle home with him. Real pickers don't fool around when they find something great. What's so special about the XAVW? Most people know Von Dutch for his artistic classic pinstriping, and some know he has painted a few bikes, written some strange prose, made some knives and pretty wacky sculptures. But working with a Harley-Davidson XA, a World War II shaft drive machine that's relatively rare now, some Moto Guzzi components and a 36 horsepower flat 4 Volkswagen engine, he joined some cool components and built a complete motorcycle. A complete Von Dutch motorcycle. That's rare. After showing the bike at Talkerfest in Iowa this summer, Mike made a deal with John Parham to lend the bike to the museum for display. The museum has lots of bikes and memorabilia on loan, which keeps things there changing, always new. You can head over to Anamosa, Iowa any day and sit down right beside the bike, study it, and consider all the thought and the work Von Dutch put into it. It appears he had to stretch the frame, make it wider to get the VW engine to drop in. Amazingly, a lot of other pieces lined up well as he mated the engine to the XA clutch and trans. He even made the Kickstarter work. Forks are early 50s Moto Guzzi, and the seat may be as well. Visually, the components all fit together really well. Even the form of the Guzzi fenders connects well with the mid-60s Honda CB 450 gas tank, especially with Von Dutch's two-tone paint and striping. Even the VW badge fits well artistically. But anyone who has done work like this knows the challenges. Looks easy maybe, but this was a lot of work and the outcome must have made Von Dutch grin. At the museum, the XAVW is parked next to a Triumph Von Dutch painted and some other great Von Dutch creations and paintwork. It's one of over 400 motorcycles at the NMM and one of about 30 custom bikes, and in a sense, one of the most radical, even if it doesn't gleam with a ton of chrome. It's another marker of the accomplishments of one of the most revered artists in the motorcycle and custom car world. Pickers, creatives and visionaries like John Parham come together so you can get side by side with some great Von Dutch creations any day of the week at the National Motorcycle Museum. If you would like to know more about the Harley-Davidson XA, you can find it in a book on Amazon called Where Have All the XAs Gone? Or click on the link in the description below. Until next time,